I'm dead serious about this. If you send in a question and you're like, should I buy this bike? It can fit 45s. No, don't buy it.
Dang, that was offensive. You just made everybody sound like a little girl voice. You can't do that to people. They're going to be mad at you. What is up, party people? Welcome back to the Bonk Bros podcast. A lot has happened in the last week. Somehow I have managed to offend and stir the pot quite a bit. Vegan Cyclist dropped his Dust Bowl 100 video last week, and I get quite the shout out / call out in that video. Hear about that on today's episode. And apparently I have offended all my fellow Kentucky cyclists, to which I sincerely apologize, and you can hear that sincere apology in today's episode. We recap the World Championships, Pogie's dominant performance there. We talk about the Rad and Dylan's predictable result there, 16th place if you didn't know. So it seems like the world is as it should be. It's a pretty usual week in the life of the Bonk Bros. Dylan finishes 16th, and I've managed to offend some people. If you like what we're doing over here on the Bonk Bros podcast, you can contribute financially by joining our Patreon. Hop on over there to our Patreon channel, our Patreon page, to become a monthly supporter of our content creating budget. You can also take advantage of the SILCA end of summer sale. And you can use Bonk Bros bonus 5 at checkout and get an additional discount on top of the sale price, which is pretty cool. We're excited to have SILCA on board as an official partner of the Bonk Bros podcast. If you've got any questions or concerns, email us at bonkbrospodcast@gmail.com. You can also DM us with your questions and concerns at our Instagram page, and you can roll on over to the ignitioncoachcode.com website and fill out the Bonk Bros listener questions form just after you sign up for monthly coaching with one of our coaches there. That's all I've got. Let's jump into today's episode.
Drew, so how's this going down this week? Are we just gonna give you the stage and you can just rant as much as you want the entire episode?
It's gonna be the worst episode.
I was expecting.
Can
Dylan
I unsubscribe from this episode already?
What was Dylan? Dylan always is antagonize the right word, where he spurs it on. He'll start the episode and be like, all right. I was expecting the episode to start and Dylan be like, all right, Drew, tell us why you pissed off everybody in Kentucky. But
okay, well, there's two people. There's two people you pissed off.
Adam instigated it this week.
You pissed off everybody in Kentucky for some reason. And then you also pissed off Vegan Cyclist. And we need to talk about both of them.
Yeah. I thought the Vegan
Let's start with Kentucky.
Oh, okay. The Vegan Cyclist one was hilarious, but we'll start with Kentucky.
We'll start with the Vegan Cyclist one. We're going to try to get Vegan Cyclist on. None of us wanted to change our schedules this week, but
we're never going to change our schedules. It doesn't matter if it's this week or next week.
That guy. No way.
He can come on our schedule.
Yeah, dude. We're not
set the schedule. We're the captains now.
He is. Yeah. This is our podcast, buddy. You can say.
All right, let's talk about
whatever the heck.
All right, let's talk about how you.
I think Drew's lagging, just so you guys know.
Damn it! This is we can't. Drew, why are you lagging, man? Yeah, you're lagging for sure. It's terrible because for some reason, you need to tell us about these beefs. Yeah, why don't you log out and then log back in?
Or just log out.
Or
okay, great.
Did you guys get hit by the Verizon outage yesterday? Do you guys have Verizon?
Dude, I don't have a flip phone.
So a million people have been texting me if I survived the hurricane in Western North Carolina, And I'm not in Western North Carolina, so yeah, I'm good. And I think my house is still there. And
you think?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it in person, but somebody told me my house is still there. So thanks for all the messages. I am okay. My house is okay.
You were gonna go back this week, right? Are you skipping that? I'm guessing.
Well, I'm not going back to North Carolina. I'm going back to Maryland for our boy Scott's wedding.
Yeah. Well, he's not even here this week.
Still haven't gotten my invitation. Is that, you think maybe mail's just a little slow, or
maybe? Yeah.
Okay. You should show up. You should just show up for sure.
Good.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Scott wouldn't care if we crashed his wedding, dude. We should have just gotten flights out.
Only if we paid for our attendance would he probably wouldn't mind.
Scott wouldn't care, but his fiance might be a little butthurt.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair.
We'll bring our own pig to roast.
Yeah.
And wood to chop. We'll chop our own wood.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to buy the wood.
We could we can build our own accommodations. Yeah, the effects in Asheville, Brevard, it's freaking wild. I'm sure, Dylan, you're even seeing more of it because you're more tuned in. But we had a bad flood here this summer, but it's nothing compared to what's going on down there. It is insane.
Yeah, I've heard from some people that I know there, and everybody that I know is okay. But if you're in Western North Carolina and you got devastated by the hurricane, then, I don't know. My heart goes out to you because obviously I'm from there. So,
yeah. And Dylan doesn't feel anything. So for him to say that is, it's bad.
Must be really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm just happy not to be there right now. It was a beautiful sunny weekend in Colorado, as it always is. So,
is your house like on a hill?
No, not really.
But you're in Brevard. Like, I mean, there's not a ton of rivers that run through Brevard, if I remember correctly, compared to Asheville.
Absolutely incorrect. Okay, you couldn't be more incorrect.
I'm glad I could
hold rivers all over the place.
And Brevard's gotten over 20 inches of rain already.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, apparently I talked to my buddy and like a bunch of power lines are down. You can't go into the forest right now. Like a lot of the roads are closed. Power's out. There's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like my buddy had to drive like an hour away just to call me. And he's like, yeah, I'm calling like 20 people because people want to know if I'm still alive.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, and then yesterday, so the reason I asked about the Verizon thing, I don't know if it's related to the hurricane or not, but we were like driving back from Spearfish, South Dakota, like on the west side of the state. And I was like in the middle of a meeting and all of a sudden my phone just like lost service. And I thought I was just going through a dead zone, except the entire rest of the drive, the next 5 hours, we didn't have cell signal. And it just gave us like the SOS notification. And apparently there was a nationwide Verizon outage. So, but we didn't know what was going on because like we didn't have Wi-Fi or anything. So we're like, for all we know, we're driving to like back home to Sioux Falls, and there's like some mass event that's going on that we probably should know about, but we have no idea about. It was kind of weird.
All right, Drew, as soon as I'm finished with this sentence, just start talking.
All right. Am I lagging?
No, you're good.
Got him. Got him.
All right, good. Hopefully it stays this way.
Did you move your office out of the state of Kentucky so you could actually get real Wi-Fi?
Nah, I made the kids run a little faster on their hamster wheels.
Oh, there you go.
Said, hey, pick it up down there. We need you. We need you right now.
Nice. All right, so people in Kentucky are pissed at you. Are there people with pitchforks and torches outside your house right now as well?
You know what was ironic? As I accidentally posted my home address on YouTube or on Instagram the day that happened. And then I didn't mean to. I posted a picture of my Menards rebates, and I was like, if you know, you know.
Oh my
and
god!
on the rebate card was my address, and I had like 10 people message me. I was like, "Whoa, bold move, putting your address on Instagram." And I'm like, who's gonna like? They could find that. You guys have said that if you want to find somebody's address or email, like it's not that hard. Like just look it up in the yellow pages or whatever.
You want me to find it right now?
You probably could. It's probably at the bottom of the Ignition website. Like literally, that's my address. So, yeah, whatever.
All right. So, what do you have to say to the people of Kentucky?
Besides the fact that they're all idiots. I mean,
that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
People getting their panties in a twist for no reason. That's really what happened. I went back and listened. I'm like, I don't even remember saying anything to piss these people off. Like, what did I say? And I went back and listened, and I'm like, idiots. Like, how? Why are you getting that upset over something so little? Like, all I said was that the cycling scene in Kentucky is kind of dying. And they took that personal. Like, and what I mean by they is there's all these grassroots, podunk, little races that happen in Kentucky.
Oh my God.
And
like the Fairdale Fondo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those people putting on a podunk little race. By the way, none of the people that called me out on Instagram were at my podunk little event, Grassroots Fondo, that I did this spring. So thanks for supporting me, guys. Anyways, went back and listened, and all I had to do to correct my mistake was insert one little 3-letter word, and that would have been the word big. If I had said there are no big races in Kentucky, all these idiots wouldn't have been mad. But all I said was, oh, there aren't any races in Kentucky.
They probably still would have been
mad. All I
mad.
said was there aren't any races in Kentucky, which I stand corrected. Yes, you people out there, you grassroots race promoters, I didn't say that to offend you. In fact, I wasn't even thinking about you when I said that. All I meant when I said that was there aren't any big races in Kentucky. Like literally the world championships were in Kentucky like 10 years ago. And the USGP series used to come through Louisville every year for their cyclocross USGP. And we've hosted amateur road nats and all these big races. And then besides that, we have these cool little grassroots, which I'm not going to lie. I mean, yeah, a lot of these little grassroots races are cool, but that's not even what I was talking about last week. And so to take something and totally pull it out of context and then get your feelings hurt about it. Yeah. I'm sorry that y'all are that dumb, but whatever.
Wow.
I'm like, dude like, you and people are like, all right, one guy, I had a couple people from Kentucky, like call me out on Instagram, and those guys like never talk to me. One of them, I don't even know.
Wait, you know them? Like
no, I know one of them because he cheers me on at races. And then all the other people, no idea who they are. And then, but one guy who didn't post anything on Instagram did have the intelligence to just text me and say, hey man, you might want to be a little more careful about what you say. You're pissing off some people in Kentucky. And I'm like, thanks, friend. You're my only friend in Kentucky, I guess. Because all these other people just go to Instagram and instead of saying like taking it to my face and saying like, hey man, I didn't appreciate what you said about Kentucky on the podcast. They go to Instagram like, dude, are we high school girls? Like, we're going to post about it on Instagram? Come on. Like, dude.
That's the spirit of gravel.
It's just
if you have
dumb.
beef, you post it on Instagram.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And I'm like, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, but that's not even what I meant. Like, I think that what events that do exist in Kentucky are pretty cool. The War Daddy, I've talked about that race like 100 times on this podcast. The bicycle station, they're trying to bring some more events to the Kentucky, Indiana area. Dust Bowl, dude, all those are like small, cool races that I support.
All right, well,
so I think those people just got their feelings hurt for no reason. That's my
okay. Right. Well, I think we had a decent amount of Kentucky listeners because of you, like, and they're now we lost all of them. Like you just dug your grave. Whatever you said last week, you just dug the grave so much deeper right now.
Hopefully, what they are hearing me say right now is I didn't even say that towards them. I wasn't even thinking about them when I said that. I looked up the definition of grassroots. You guys know what the definition of grassroots is? To
the root, the root of a grass.
It's known as the common people, especially in distinction to the elite. Okay. So what I'm saying is I'm an elite bike racer.
You're elite?
Yeah, that's exactly that's what I'm saying. So last week when I was referring to the cycling scene is kind of dead in Kentucky, all I know is my bubble. And I race at this elite level. So when I said that, you've got to put it into my context of, oh, well, he's talking about elite, big, professional races.
Dude, don't you hate the elitists, though?
I do. But I'm saying
hating on elitists.
You have to take what I'm saying into context of who I am and where I am. And I had people like message me and say, well, yeah,
do you know who I am?
No, I'm not saying it to be egotistical or whatever, because the vegan cyclist already thinks I'm full of ego. All I'm saying is that when I said what I said last week, in my mind, there was a distinction. And I was just talking about the types of races that I do, which are like usually.
Are you the fastest rider in Kentucky?
No.
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that. There's probably Carson could probably smoke me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but like at a gravel race.
There's only 2 gravel racers in Kentucky, really. Like,
also, Carson lives in North Carolina now.
He's from Kentucky. We'll claim him. We claim him. Marathon natty champ. Yeah, he's from Kentucky now.
Dude, Carson was so pissed about what you said last week. He texted me. He's like, I can't believe Dizzle would say that about me.
No way. Even him? He doesn't even live in Kentucky anymore. He went to Brevard because there's bigger races happening down there.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
all
kidding.
I mean is, look, what I'm trying to say is I am sorry that I pissed off those people from Kentucky.
You don't sound sorry at all, dude.
No, I am. I made a whole YouTube video about how, like,
that was a pretty good apology, I will say.
Now or the YouTube video?
Like it's no, I mean, like, since we started recording, like, it seemed very sincere. You seem very sorry. At no point did you call anyone an idiot.
No, I'm saying all that. I'm trying to be funny too. That was like a whole nother topic I wanted to talk about is people thinking they know who I am because they listen to this podcast. Like, yeah, if y'all think that this is how I act all the time.
You do act like this all the time. What are you talking about, dude? This is
maybe, but
this is how you
do with my close friends. So you guys are getting a glimpse into my, close friendships here. And but if you come up to me at a race,
well, I mean,
I think
how you act with your close friends is your personality
or whatever. Like,
Is he frozen?
I'm not mean.
Finally.
Can you hear me?
Drew, your Wi-Fi is acting up again.
My gosh.
Come on.
Tell those kids to run fast.
Am I bad?
I was going to say, we, like, for all the people out there that think that we're just putting on, like, a show
Can you
here,
hear me now?
This is actually how we talk to each other, even, like, when we're not recording. That's like that's what makes the recording fun is like we're literally just recording our own conversation.
I don't know what Drew is saying about how like this is not how I act in real life.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know why he's saying that. He should just own it. We say this all the time. Drew is like the most controversial person on the show. He's either like everyone loves him and it's actually the majority of people love him, and then there's like this small fringe of people that they think that everyone hates him like they do. But there's that's like 1% of people. The other 99% of people think Drew like makes the show way better. So for all those people out there, that's the 1%ers. That's who Drew's talking to right now.
Right. I'm part of the 1%.
That's fine. Drew's talking to you too. Yeah. It's so funny though. Like when I read all the messages about people that are like, kick Drew off the show. He's ruining the show. I'm like, you guys don't understand that you are such a minority in this like debate that I don't even listen.
We established that he's been here from episode 1 or
true
1/9 to 19 onwards.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Drew. Who do you want to piss off now?
Did you fix your Wi-Fi? It's still awful, man. The weather. No, it seems okay.
Hey Drew, Hey Drew, just quick question. Did you forget to upload the YouTube video again? I'm asking because someone asked on Instagram. I'm just relaying their message. They sent this on Sunday.
All right. Well, don't check it now. We have stuff to talk about.
So wait, did we 118?
All right, Drew. While we still have you on, there's another beef we need to talk about.
Well,
damn, Drew, your lag is terrible. Okay, get out of here and come back on. All right, do that. We'll see you.
Jeez.
All right.
I guess we can talk about some other bike racing while he's gone.
Yeah. How about the dude? How about the fact that Adam? It was funny that you just saw this Instagram post yesterday. The one about how gravel racers going to Worlds are not getting any funding from USA Cycling.
Oh, is that not new news?
Dude, that news has been like a week old.
Oh, really?
Easily.
So Tyler, you were using sarcasm when you responded?
I was, yeah. heavy doses of sarcasm.
I didn't pick up on it.
That's all right. You didn't have seltzer.
Yeah, it's true. The post was, quote, "We have no support from USA Cycling. Multiple US riders skip gravel Worlds as team members are asked to cover extensive costs, which includes Keegan, Lauren DiCrescenzo, and Paige Onwell, amongst others." So I sent that to you guys, and Tyler's response was, "Wow, haven't seen that story before." And I thought you were being serious.
I mean, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it from. So I guess I was going to actually ask Dylan, is that like a big, I don't know, a controversy within your little gravel thing, or is it just like more of the same?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently last year, USA Cycling did cover costs for some riders to go to gravel Worlds. I don't know why, because if you look at the comment section of that post, it's a bunch of riders from other countries being like, "Oh, so like what is this, an article about how the sky is blue?" Like, that's just how it works. Like, you pay to go to Worlds. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, wow, like, cry me a river."
Yeah, I mean, this is like, and again, I don't know if all of cohort is really complaining about this, or if it's just fellow news or whoever posted that trying to make a story out of nothing. But I mean, dude, that tale is as old as time in terms of USAC and Worlds. I mean, cross racers, the only people that ever got funding were people who were basically on trade teams like Cannondale. Mm-hmm. You know, the
were they getting funding from USAC, or you're saying they were getting funding? Oh, really? Okay.
Well, okay. So what I mean by, I guess I should clarify, the qualifications for full funding cross was basically like if you finish top 3 at national. Which, if you look at the field at that point, it's like, well, most of those people they're good enough that they're on a trade team.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they have the funding already, and then the people who filled out the rest of the roster spots were generally having to go to, GoFundMe pages or get some type of funding or pay their own way to get there. On top of, you got to pay the mechanics fee and lodging fee and for else. So there is, like, if USAC is going to, feed you and give you some kit and like take care of you, like there are some additional costs there they have to take on. I'm not saying that it should be a charity service, but again, this is like, I guess every other discipline probably looks at that article and is like, yeah, dude, welcome to the club. Like,
mm-hmm.
That first time meme, it's like, we've been doing this for a decade or more now. for having to pay our own way to get to the world championships because the federation doesn't have enough money or doesn't allocate enough money to get us.
Yeah. Also, a lot of people have pointed out and even texted me about that. I don't know why they're texting me about this, but have texted me like, hey, like, why aren't any of the Grand Prix athletes going to Worlds? I mean, I think there's some Grand Prix athletes going to Worlds, but some of the big names are not going. And honestly, I think the reason is because the athletes that are doing well in the Grand Prix, they don't want to travel all the way to Europe and then travel all the way back when they've got such a tight race schedule here. They just want to focus on Grand Prix and finishing as well as they can in Grand Prix this year.
I mean, it makes sense because that's where the money is at. And I mean, it's not just cycling. I was listening to a podcast with Jessie Diggins yesterday, and she was talking about the same thing, how, you know, the entire budget for cross-country skiing was equal to or less than the wax team budget for like Norway or Sweden, one of the dominant countries. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those European countries do have government funding for their organizations. Like the Belgian or the Dutch team is funded by like the national lottery. The Dutch team I know is funded by the national lottery. So there's like government level funding for these governing bodies, so they can afford to cover the costs. And granted, it's whatever, a 8-hour drive or a 30-minute flight to get from the Netherlands to wherever Worlds are, Girona this year. Or half the people racing Worlds probably already live in Girona. It's not really that far. But like, you know, with USAC, you don't have government level funding, and the funding that we do get goes towards Olympic disciplines, mountain biking, road. I don't even know if track cycling gets the same amount. BMX, like that is where the resources are channeled to because the pull of the Olympics is so high. So for gravel, I guess you guys just got to get in the Olympics. Comes down to.
Yeah.
or allocates or like all the money going to the Grand Prix. Like if people, you know, there has to be, I guess, you know, allocation of that in another way, I guess.
Yeah. Or, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't totally disagree with this stance of like why USAC shouldn't be paying for some of these athletes to go there. Like, why isn't USAC paying for them to do the entire Lifetime Grand Prix series? Right? I mean,
like, okay. Hold on. Why would USAC pay a competing series?
I know
people to do a competing series.
What in Gravel Worlds is it not a competing series?
Yeah, but no, Gravel Worlds is not a competing series. Like Lifetime Grand Prix is sort of low key competing with USAC. Sure, yeah. Gravel Worlds is not competing with USAC for participation.
But what I'm saying though is the athletes are choosing to do the Lifetime Grand Prix despite the fact that they're not getting funding from USAC to go do that, right? Mm-hmm. Where are they getting the funding from? They're getting the funding from their budgets that they're creating from sponsors and supporting partners, right?
Yeah.
So if these athletes really wanted to do Gravel Worlds, they should have accounted for that in those budgets, right? Not relying on USAC to get them there. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
They could start. They could just start a GoFundMe. Just do a GoFundMe. Everybody does that.
Drew, is your internet lagging again?
Is it?
I just heard an echo coming from your side. Yeah.
No, I'm not lagging now.
I'm making a joke because I said the exact same thing while you were gone.
I've thought about doing a GoFundMe for my entire budget. Just if you want to sponsor me, if you want to sponsor me, just go do it. Do it.
Everybody who would have given you money in Kentucky is now not going to give you money, dude. So you pissed them all off.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think those were the people that I would expect to sponsor me anyways.
Why, dude? They live in the state that you live in.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, now that you're back, you want to talk about the vegan cyclist beef or what?
Well, I guess I was. I mean, to not preface. What do you do if it's the opposite of a preface, a postface? Anyways,
I don't know what you just said.
Yeah. I'll do a little PS postscript. I'm not. Yeah, no. I don't want the people in Kentucky to dislike me, and so I want them to know that.
We're done with people. From
Everything
Kentucky,
else that I said at the beginning of this podcast, I wasn't trying to piss y'all off more. I was just trying to make my statement, I guess.
Oh my gosh, digging the hole so deep. All right, on to the next one.
On to the next.
Now
one.
we need to get vegan cyclists really riled up before he gets on this podcast.
This is the real beef. Is gravel cyclist. When my buddy texted me, it was like, "Hey man." My Kentucky friend, I thought that he was talking about the vegan cyclist beef because that happened on the same day. Him like putting out the video and lighting me up about the Flame Boy, which was hilarious. I loved every second of that. And so I was like, my buddy was like, "Do you need PR consulting?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I love this. This is hilarious." And that was like, I didn't even know about the whole Kentucky thing. And he texted me something else, and I had no idea what he was talking about. He said something about, in regards to the Kentucky people disliking me, he said, "Well, we'd love for you to be on our side." And I'm like, sides? Like, what are you talking about? I literally had to text him and say, "I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the vegan cyclist." So yeah, I guess he finally posted his video from the Dust Bowl, where he got dusted, and the highlight of the video was me, which was awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that he likes me that much to where he made me the star character in his own video.
I think it's because he disliked you that much.
Yeah, which was weird because we only talked for like a minute. Like, from the way that he talked about me in his video, you'd think he had like talked to me, and we literally only had like a 1-minute conversation after the race as he was driving away. And
but that 1-minute conversation sounds like it went terrible.
Yeah, I guess from his perspective. From my perspective, I thought it was hilarious. I guess he just did not get my sense of humor like at all. He took, when you like, I was being sarcastic and ironic, and he took all of that literally. And then he said that I'm like egotistical, and I'm like, oh, I guess if you listen to what I said literally, then yeah. But if you knew that I was joking, you would have laughed, I guess.
All right. Well, so what the people want to know is, did you in fact ask him for money for your footage, and where's the emails at?
So during the race, he saw that I had a GoPro on my bike, and he said, "Hey, let's connect after the race to get some footage." And I was like, all I did was look at him, and I did the money sign with my fingers. You know, when you go like this, and I went, and I did this in his face. And isn't that not a joke? Is that not a joke? Like, what real person communicates by putting up their fingers and demanding money like this? Like, that is clearly a joke. Like, come on. Like, you got to have enough common sense to know, oh, this guy's goofing off. Like, yeah, I'll send you my footage. I don't care. Like, you putting my footage in your video would get me like probably 1,000 more subscribers. I've literally put up a white piece of paper that said "subscribe to Drew Dillman" in Dylan's background, and I got 500 subscribers. So I know how that works. Like, I will benefit if he uses my footage. So
wait, and Drew, didn't you put out a Dust Bowl video yourself?
Yeah, like the week after the race.
So couldn't he have just used some of that footage?
I literally texted. He was messaging me on Instagram, and I said, "Hey man, like, you could just clip my video of all the," but he wanted all the sections of him in it. And so I went in, and I think I sent him, I don't remember, but I did email. He texted me. I forgot about it, honestly, the first time. And then he emailed me back, and he hadn't done the video yet. And it was like 2 weeks after the race. And I'm like, oh, if he still hasn't put his video out, I'll send it to him. And he said, yeah, I haven't done it yet. And so I said, what's your email? And you want me to tell you exactly the email that he told me to use?
Yeah, so let's hear it.
Probably wouldn't appreciate that. He sent me his email.
What is it like?
And I
put a thumb up your butt at gmail.com.
I created a Google Drive. I put all the footage into that Google Drive. This is costing.
Okay, well, you don't need to tell the audience how you upload footage.
But this is now costing me time. and I didn't ask him for money, and I'm wasting my time on this. And I email him all the footage via this Google Drive folder. He said that's how he wanted it. I even went back and double checked, and I sent it to the correct email. So either he sent me the wrong email address or it ended up in his spam folder. And so he called me all like his whole big reason for calling me out is that I didn't share my footage with him, and I'm an a-hole for not sharing my footage with him, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm an a-hole because I won the race too, I guess. And I look like an idiot because of the red flames, which is also kind of like a big running joke as well. But anyways, yeah. And all of that to say that I actually like literally sent him the footage. And so everything he said in his video was inaccurate and stupid.
I think your kit is just as polarizing as your personality. Like some people think your kit is awesome.
That's the point.
And some people absolutely hate your red bibs. I mean, me included. I hate your red bibs, but
they're cool. Like they stand out. Like you don't like put on red bibs thinking like this is actually cool. You do it trying to get that exact response from people. Like they're gonna notice red bibs. Maybe they don't notice it for the right reasons.
So I will say that the black and red version of your kit is better than the yellow and red version. The yellow and red version is terrible. I hate that one.
The yellow and red version stands out so much more, though.
When you watch that drone footage of the start of Schwamian, there's one kit that stands out brighter than all the other kits combined, and it's me.
Was it that dude that went off the front?
Nah. You were wearing white and brown like every other gravel cyclist. Yeah. White, brown, and black are the colors of
Drew,
choice.
I gotta say this though. You talked about the Dust Bowl like it was some little podunk gravel race, and I think you just lost some more Kentucky followers because this seemed like it was a pretty big race. Like Vegan Cyclist was there, you were there, Andrew Jackson was there. Like, is that not a big gravel race?
1,000 people started. Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah.
That seems pretty big to me. So,
it's one of those races where it kind of started
doesn't that
out.
add to one of Kentucky's like big gravel races?
Well, it happens in Indiana, and it kind of started, as like a grassroots event, and over the years,
I didn't know it was in Indiana.
It's just
disregard
grown.
Everything I said. Never mind.
It's just grown
I thought it was
tremendously.
in Kentucky.
And now it is Kentucky's biggest gravel race. It's just in Indiana.
It's just in Indiana. Okay, never mind.
There's only one gravel race in Kentucky, and it's the War Daddy. And if I'm wrong on that, it's probably because I'm an idiot and I don't support Kentucky cycling. And
dude, you know what's so funny? When you said last week that Kentucky doesn't have any gravel, like you were talking about how there's like no gravel roads, people were like, we got a lot of messages that people were pissed about the fact that you didn't recognize the fact that Kentucky has loads of gravel roads.
Where are they?
Which is just
literally
hilarious.
looked on the map. Like nowhere near where I live is there. And their definition of gravel roads is like 4-wheeler ATV trails. We have a lot of ATV trails, but those aren't very fun to ride your gravel bike on.
Speak for yourself, dude.
Dude, I think those are the most fun.
If you've had fun at the War Daddy, you're doing it wrong. That race is not fun. It's really, really freaking hard. Like, and I think the point of it is that it is hard.
Dude, the amount of times you've put your own foot in your mouth, just this episode alone is insane.
I don't care. I don't care. People should expect this. Like, if you listen to this podcast, I'm going to offend you at one point or another. And whether that's on purpose or an accident, I mean, like, I've got a real knack for this. Like, I accidentally pissed off everybody in Kentucky a week ago. Like, that's a real talent. Like, how can somebody do that without even trying? That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're very talented.
Yeah,
it's a real cerebral individual to do that.
Yeah. Anyways, so I thought I made a little clip from all of the Vegan Cyclist where he was calling me. He called me Flame Boy throughout his whole video. He overlaid every time I rode past him, which was quite often until about 45 miles in when I rode past him to never be seen again. He overlaid me with the Human Torch. Do you know who the Human Torch is? The Fantastic Four flame guy. And he kept putting in there like flame on, and so like I've been just eating that up. Like hashtag flameboy, flame on. I've been using that flame emoji like crazy lately. I thought it was hilarious. I thought the video was really funny, and I took no offense to what he said in the video other than like him lying about the money thing or misconstruing the money thing. Besides that, it was the comments where he was commenting about me. Because Chase was the one that actually was like, hey, you should go read the comments. Like he's kind of lighting you up in the comments section. And he actually said like in the comments of his video that he didn't like me, that I was full of myself, that I didn't give off the right vibe. I'm like, dude, you talked to me for 1 minute. And I'm pretty sure 95% of what I said during that 1 minute conversation, I was being completely sarcastic and trying to goof off. Like during that conversation was when I said, you don't know who I am, which is irony. If you don't know what irony is, it was me saying you don't know who I am when you're more famous than I am. That's ironic.
Right.
That's ironic. Do you know what irony is?
I mean, it just makes so much sense why you came off like a douche. You know?
Yeah. I'm like, if he had talked to me for like more than that one conversation where I was completely sarcastic pretty much the whole time, I don't think he gave me enough time to like, he didn't even like talk to me enough to realize my sense of humor.
Mm.
Where's this guy from?
Who cares?
California.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine a
That
California guy
sounds about right.
misunderstanding a Kentucky guy.
I mean, yeah, that would happen.
Yeah, you guys are so hard to understand.
It's all kind of goes. I mean, this is all of this goes. It's all because he's vegan. That's the whole reason.
Because, I told you, dude. He had that tofu
him
rage
being
going.
vegan is what made all this happen. Because if he wasn't vegan, he would have gotten to hang out at the venue a little longer. Because it turned out at the race they told him there would be vegan food, but there was actually just barbecue, which isn't quite vegan. And so he had to leave because he was like literally starving to death. And he couldn't eat.
Dude, there's grass everywhere.
Yeah, he couldn't eat it. I guess
Dillman gets by at the end of the races.
I don't know. So he was leaving to go find some food, and there's nowhere to eat close by. So I'm pretty sure when he left, he was gone. But if he wasn't vegan, we could have hung out and chatted and ate some barbecue together, and we could have had some good old laughs. But him being vegan just screwed all that up.
He was probably leaving because of you. He had a 1 minute conversation with you, and he was like, "I need to get out of here."
He was already in his car when that conversation happened with me, like with my head through his window, talking to him in his car.
Well, that's also probably why he wanted to leave. Why are you sticking his head through his window?
And I was joking, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not sending you my footage unless you subscribe to my channel." And so he pulled up my channel and subscribed right there, and then. Also, I did say this. I was like, well, I'm not going to subscribe to you, man. I'm sorry. I just said that was kind of mean. I said that straight to his face, but it's not anything against him. I don't even watch that much YouTube. I watch Colin Furs and I watch the Flow Sports highlights, and that's about it.
Dude, without a doubt, he has unsubscribed to you by now.
Is there a way to look that up?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways,
we'll just ask him next week when he comes on.
Or maybe he's the one that created that phantom Instagram profile that only follows himself and Payson.
That scares me.
Mark Miles.
The three people who would if they had a hit list, I'd be on their hit list, are those three people. And they're all followed by this person. I'm like, oh, all right,
why don't we give that account a shout out? What's the name of that account?
Yeah, but they don't even that? Whoa. How did you even find that, Adam? Because all it is what's the beef about, and then there's no words or anything on there. I didn't get it.
Oh, they messaged us.
They messaged you.
Yeah.
What'd they say?
Yeah.
Followed.
I don't remember. I'm sure it was because I was like, you though.
You put that. You sent that in our group text, and I was like, oh, this must be the people that don't like me.
They sent a super long message,
and then I went and looked And
What
both
they
of
say?
the
Okay.
both of the
Drew,
pictures
shut
they
up.
have
Drew,
don't
shut
have
up. Let's
any
read the message.
words.
Do you want me to actually read the whole thing?
Nah,
Yeah.
Can you skim it first before
It'll just
Is it bad?
no, it'll probably just piss me off more.
It will piss you
Yeah,
off.
I'm
Okay,
already
let's
over
read
it.
it.
I'm already
let's read
over
it. Let's
it.
read it.
No,
I'll just skim it.
Just-
talking
just-
about harder and
Drew,
harder to
just
listen to Drew.
Mute yourself.
He's out of touch with his own cycling community in Louisville. Saying
True.
we don't have teams or
That is
races
true.
shows that he doesn't care how he's not engaged at all.
yeah.
His comments are always super desperate for support, and he's losing local support.
I never had local support besides being on the Texas Roadhouse team.
There's a dope ass crit in Georgetown, Kentucky that apparently you missed.
Yeah, sure missed that.
The War Daddy is a mountain bike race.
I'm not a crit racer.
Oh, he calls it a mountain bike race. I think he said it was a gravel race.
It's the hardest. I don't know what it is. It could be either one.
They said that the War Daddy is the best mountain bike race they've ever been to.
All right, so whoever
You
created
can take-
this account is a
Isn't-
real Drew hater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they've never
Right.
done a real mountain bike race in a real spot where there's trails.
Well,
those
they
aren't
said
even-
because of the promotion, not because of the terrain, but because of the promoters.
Yeah, I love the promoter. Yeah, Maggard's like awesome. Yeah, I love John
Cool,
Maggard.
give
Like
that
there's
guy a
all
shout.
kinds of guys in Kentucky and Louisville that I love who get me, and it's the people who have never talked to me that don't like me. This guy,
This is
whoever just sent you
hilarious.
this message, has never talked to me ever before.
It's so funny. And they only have like a couple posts, and they're just like, one's just like a random picture of a freak,
Mhm.
and then another random picture of a bike. And then they follow 3 people: Vegan Cyclist, Mark Miles, and Payson.
Nice.
They have 0 followers. Should we follow them and be the only follower?
Yeah, do it. I'll go follow
No,
it
the-
too.
The Bonk Bros, I'm pretty strict about the Bonk Bros page. Doesn't follow anyone but us.
Yo, the Bonk Bros page does follow one other person, though. I don't know. What's that about?
Yeah, who is that? Who did that? I didn't do that.
Who is it?
Tyler, did you do that?
Who do we follow?
Who do we follow?
Lance Armstrong?
Terry Martin?
Who's
Someone
Terry?
hacked
Probably
us. And,
Scott.
Yeah.
it's probably Scott. Yeah, we're going to unfollow that guy for sure.
Accidentally pressed the wrong button there.
Okay. All right, we're back to it. We only follow 5 people.
Okay. What's the beef about?
No, they're not on there.
I just think it's funny that people go to the internet to like I mean, I can't say much. I'm on here spreading hate on a podcast, so I can't say. I mean, I'm like literally doing it myself, but for some reason there's something like in my mind, this is a podcast and it's entertainment, and literally everything that I say on this podcast is for entertainment purposes, and if you're taking it personally, sorry. But Instagram,
Your apologies are terrible.
yeah, probably.
Your apologies are incredibly
Apologize to
insincere.
absolutely nobody.
People are just getting offended to get offended. Like, just listen to something and just enjoy listening to it. Don't get offended. Like,
How can anyone enjoy listening to you though?
obviously, all kinds of people do. Or that,
Like, yeah. All right. Well,
whatever.
speaking of people getting offended, did you guys hear that Steamboat might get shut down because
Hmm.
the ranchers are offended?
Those darn
Is it
ranchers.
the blatant disregard for the community out there?
Yeah, actually, dude. Speaking of blatant regard for the community, Dizzle's not the only one who has blatant disregard for the community. Apparently, gravel cyclists and SBT also have blatant disregard for the community.
Sounds about right.
It's probably all you vegans that are pooping grass into their ditches.
Yeah, dude, taking grass from the cows out there. How are the cows going to survive if you're just
Yeah, I don't know.
plague of
Did-
locusts?
How many of those ranchers do you think listen to this podcast right now?
I hope that somebody
Created the
sends
Bonk
the
Bros
ranchers
fan
this
page.
podcast because I got beef with those ranchers. I mean, I already said this that I like wanted to take a shit in one of their driveways, but I've never wanted to take a shit in somebody's driveway more than I do now. Like, seriously, fuck those ranchers.
Dang. Dang.
You didn't even do the race.
I know. I know, and I'm pissed about it. Dude, seriously,
you've never done it, have you?
I've never done SBT, but seriously, like if you're an SBT, dude, if you're a rancher in Steamboat, go screw yourself. Like you suck hard.
Is that why your throat hurt, or?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I want to be on your side with this one, but I also kind of am on the side of the ranchers.
What?
What?
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it's just these races, they don't do anything to like try and, I don't know, support the community outside of like the little bubble. And if all of a sudden the roads are just closed, not really closed, dude, they're just like effectively closed.
Dude, you know how many gravel races I've been to in like rural Texas or rural Nebraska or whatever, where everybody in the town is like stoked that there's a bike race there. Like in Trinidad, Colorado last weekend for the Rad, I was going around to like, I don't know, find food or whatever, and people were like, "Oh yeah, the woman at the coffee shop was like, "Oh yeah, I'm making a special coffee for the race day." Like wow. You should come in. Like
and that's awesome. And that's how it should be. That's what I would like to see more is like the entire community get brought in to support the event and like the community rallies around it. That's like, those are my favorite events to go to when it's like, you actually feel like you're part of the community there. But there's some events that they don't do that. They just want to like host their event, take over the town and get out.
Dizzle's fun.
I don't know. I've only been to Steamboat once. I thought it was a fine event. But maybe that's how they are. Maybe they're not really trying to support the community or bringing the community in to help support the race. And they're kind of disregarding the fact that like there's other people out there running businesses that have to use the roads. And when the road gets shut down for a day and they didn't know about it, that's like a nuisance.
I just want to say I support my local community here in Kentucky with Dizzle's Fondo. Jeez, dude. I gave 25% of the money I made from Dizzle's Fondo to a local food pantry. Just want to say, here I am supporting Kentucky with my.
Why didn't you give 100%?
Grassroots. Dude? Well, because the goal of the event was to like try to get some money for the race season. I can't ask people. I obviously can't ask people to sponsor me, so So I thought, I'll just put on an event and try to get some money, earn some money for my budget, and show people the cool roads that I train on. And I gave 25% of the money to the local food pantry. That's me supporting my Kentucky folk.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Just so y'all know. Just so you know. Facts.
Why don't you support your fellow content creators on YouTube, Drew? Why you gotta make it so hard for them to earn a living? You know?
Why aren't you supporting content creators?
I had so many people message me and say he's got, X amount of subscribers. He should pay you for the footage. And I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right. I know how much money he's probably going to make from that Dust Bowl video, and it blows my video out of the water. So if I had to do the work of carrying a GoPro and getting the footage, I should be compensated for that.
How much would you charge him?
I don't know. Not much, a couple $100 or something.
I mean, take the time. Like,
realistically,
if on dollar per minute.
Yeah, realistically, I don't know, like $250. I mean, it wasn't like I was trying. If I was like following him and trying to get footage of him, one thing. But if I'm just sending him the clips that I happen to get of him without extra effort, then yeah, whatever. But I didn't even ask him for money. I don't care. Just
so going back to Steamboat. So
way to make it all about yourself. Honestly, this whole podcast, man.
I'm just one of those people in Kentucky to know that I do care for the welfare of the place I live in. Look that up in the Bible.
Yeah. Now this is taken from Reddit, so obviously it's the most trusted source in news.
Reddit.
Despite the estimated $5 million boost to the local economy, it seems that SBT gravel in its current form has heard its death knell. Never heard of that word before. Knell. The State Patrol and Sheriff's Department no longer want to support the race in its current form, so they'll be capping the participants at 1,800 people and turning the race into more of a grand fondo without podium placements on Saturday, with a closed course circuit race on Sunday.
Gross. Grand Fondo.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, dude, it's over. It's over for SBT.
Isn't every gravel race is basically a Grand Fondo, a mass start.
Dizzle.
Yeah, dude.
It's a mass start event that's kind of a race, but kind of isn't a race.
Hardly prize money.
Yeah, literally every mass start gravel race is a gravel Grand Fondo.
No.
How's it differ?
I don't know, because there's a starting line and a finishing line, and there's prize money.
There are start lines and finish lines for Grand Fondos, and there usually isn't prize money in gravel races.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Point proven. Dylan's an idiot.
I can't stand the thought of participating in a Grand Fondo, to be honest with you.
What if it was Dizzle's Fondo?
No. Especially not Dizzle's Fondo. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
I mean, it's weird because some Grand Fondos are like actually races, and some Grand Fondos are like fun rides. I don't know the difference.
Dude, there's a Grand Fondo World Championships.
I know there is. Like,
do you think
I know
do you think USAC supports the riders that go?
Probably.
No.
You probably get full funding.
Like, I know that some Grand Fondos are taken seriously and they're competitive and they're whatever, and then some Grand Fondos are not. It's just the whole thing is like, I'm like not about it.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm reading a bunch of these comments on here, and it's a lot of people that are saying that whenever they ride gravel and Steamboat, there's always a problem with the ranchers. So it sounds like it's not really just the race. They just hate cyclists.
They just hate cyclists in general.
Yeah, which I don't know. I don't totally agree with that. So,
dude,
guess I'm back on your side.
I don't know why you ever agreed with the ranchers. The ranchers suck. The SBT ranchers suck hard.
Well, it's good to consider both sides of an argument.
Kind of moderate. I'd say I'm maybe in the middle.
And also, like, this is
sucking off ranchers.
I will say this is very specific to the Steamboat ranchers. If you're a rancher in Texas listening to this podcast, you're cool, man. Like, I've been to so many small races where everybody in the town is stoked that the race came, because it gives a ton of money to the local community by, like, boosting the economy. And they're also just stoked that something is happening in their small town for once.
Oh, don't say small towns. You might offend people.
Oh, yeah. Not big towns.
The towns that host these races, I don't think they're offended by the fact that
less than metropolitan areas.
Right. Yeah.
Appropriate language, Dylan.
I think how much did they say was Steamboat, not to belabor that point? How much did they say was to the local economy?
$5
million.
Well, according to this Reddit thread, it was $5 million.
Where did they get that number?
$5 billion.
That sounds
like
$5
million, not a B.
That sounds like
not
some
a B.
Dizzle math right there. That sounds pretty far fetched.
But I mean, like, you're talking about like stimulating the local economy. Like, where does that Steamboat money go, right? Like, it doesn't go to the ranchers. It doesn't go to the cities.
They're not talking about like the money that goes to the race. I think they're talking about the money spent in the town.
Right, I know, but like, that's at Airbnbs, hotels, and restaurants, and other gift shops and things like that. So again, people that live there work there, right? But I guess, like,
but don't the ranchers have to
likely isn't spread out? Don't
the ranchers sell their stuff to the people that live in the city, and so then if the city increases, then the ranchers
a little bit
profit, right? Like,
I mean, I also just think it's
if $5 million is coming into your community, it's benefiting you, even if you don't know how to relate it directly to you. It's benefiting you.
And also, dude, even if the ranchers never saw a dime of that, it's just selfish to be like, oh, hey, restaurants and hotels, like, screw you. Like, there's a guy riding a bike outside my doorstep. Like, I can't see that.
That's a good perspective.
Like, why are you being so selfish? Like, there are people in your community benefiting from this event, and you're like, oh, dude, I can't have people on bikes, like, right outside my doorstep one day a year. Like, shut the whole thing down.
Maybe promoters should be better about actually explaining that benefit. to the people in the surrounding areas instead of just saying, well, and instead of making that assumption.
And that's
people
kind of like
automatically
common
know
sense,
that are
though.
race
Like,
cars. But it's not.
If
But people
any
have their
event
own
comes to
perspective.
any town, it's probably good for the town.
Dude, I like, no, I mean, case in point, like how many times have you been riding and been yelled at for riding on the shoulder, right? And people are like, get off the road. And you're like, where else am I supposed to go? It says walk in the name of sidewalk, not riding on the sidewalk.
Yeah, or when like they yell out the window, like, get off the road. You're not paying for this with those bikes, or whatever. Like that's like, I love it when they say that.
Like
exactly.
Else.
They have
like,
they have no idea.
I got yelled at earlier this year about how there's so many miles of trails and I'm riding my bike on the road and I'm on my road bike. Like, what are you talking about? And but the idea being that people see it from their myopic point of view. They don't understand that, hey, a bike race coming into Bentonville is a benefit for Bella Vista as well, because there's so many that rent out houses or have Airbnbs, but I don't see that direct benefit. All I see is I got to stop to let people cross the trail and it's ruining my day. But if promoters do a better job of going around to halls or with other members of the surrounding community, educate them and say, hey, by the way, like, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a nuisance, but you get the benefit of having, more people come to the restaurants here, having more people come here and, spend tourism dollars at your Airbnb or something. So I think there just needs to be more education from Steamboat and from other gravel races to be able to actually make it so that people aren't, canceling races and is ruined and because people are taking a dump in their driveway.
The promoters of Steamboat should just pack up all their stuff and bring it to Kentucky. Bring your race to Kentucky. We need a big race.
You don't have gravel roads in Kentucky.
We need a big race like Steamboat to happen in the middle of Kentucky.
Start unpaving those roads.
I'm pretty sure a governor back in like the 80s was like, I'm going to pave all the roads. And that's why there's not that much gravel in Kentucky.
You guys watch highlights of Road World Championships this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. I rode the trainer this weekend for a lot. So I got to watch it on the trainer. Yeah.
Oh, like 15 minutes of watching the highlights?
No, on Saturday I did 4.5 hours on the trainer.
Why would you do that?
I did a 2-a-day because it was raining all day. So I did 2 hours in the morning and 2.5 in the afternoon. And then I did another 2 on Sunday morning.
Jeez.
Dang, I know.
Outside.
All right, so you actually watched a current bike race. What do you think about it?
I watched the end of the women's and the end of the men's, or most of the men's.
Okay, great, man. So what do you think about it?
Me?
Yeah, you actually watched a race for once in your life.
Yeah, I mean the men's race was exciting, but not exciting at the same time. Like I would have loved to have seen a more. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Vanderpool and Tade like just straight up like throw some bombs at each other, but Tade went so early that it ended up just being, like he pretty much just time trialed the whole thing, and it looked like there for a glimmer of a second that the chase group was going to catch him, and it might come back together. And the announcers were flipping out. They're like, "Oh, it was hilarious too." The gap went from like a minute down to like 50 seconds. And they're like, oh, Tade lost 10 seconds. Oh my gosh. But the gap never went like even under 45 seconds. And like they were freaking out over him losing 10 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, but he only lost 10 seconds. Like, but they were losing it because he lost some time at one moment. And then he soloed in. And so I thought Ben O'Connor getting second was pretty rad. Like, I don't think anybody would have seen that one coming. I didn't see that coming. I thought that was cool.
And you got to find some way to make a 100K attack interesting.
Yeah.
I think the frustrating part, and who knows how accurate the time was, but they were talking about how maybe in the last 10, 20K, the chase group was like 30 seconds behind Tade at that point before the last climb. And I just really wish that they would have had race radios so they would have known like how close they were to catching Tade and being able to race for the win.
Oh, you mean the chase group? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think everybody's like race radios make it worse, but there's a safety aspect to it, but also instead you get kind of a boring thing where the group gets 30 seconds away from Tade, but no one really knows that we're 30 seconds away until the moto drives back with the chalkboard and then tells you, hey, by the way, you're 30 seconds. Now it's back up to 50.
Yeah.
Because in that time frame, it took them to actually get the gap. Things have changed. So it's just, I don't know. I wish there were radios, slightly more exciting. Although like Netherlands and Belgium knows what their tactics were in both races. Because they didn't use their domestiques to actually pull back the gap when they need.
The end of the women's race was way more exciting. It was like the last two laps on both of the last two laps, the same 4 or 5 girls would get a gap, and both times they got caught. But on the last lap when they got caught, it was like close. I mean, it was like a few K from the line, and then the girl who won with the fractured elbow,
Lada Kopecky?
No, she didn't win. It was like
she won the women's race.
I don't think you're right.
He is right.
I think I'm right.
You're right. Yeah.
Did I watch last year's? What?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Lada Kopecky also won last year, so maybe she had a fractured elbow.
Who was the one that had the fractured elbow?
Did you watch the U23 race?
Maybe the U23 women's race? That was actually Puck Petersa that won that race.
No, because
in the women's elite race, they had a combined race.
Was it raining?
Yes.
And the girl who won had
a fractured elbow. In Zurich.
Yeah, Van Vleuten.
Van Vleuten.
Van Vleuten?
Yes.
Vleuten.
That was like
she had a fractured elbow.
That was 3 years ago.
She didn't win the women's road race.
Oh my God.
That was last year.
3 years ago, dude. You watched the race from 3 years ago, and you thought you watched this year's race.
That was 2 years ago. 2022.
Dude, you're such an idiot, man.
I don't even know who won this year. That was on Tiz Cycling. That was the one that was at the top of the list. So
oh my gosh.
And I don't even remember there being a year. I think it just said World Championships ladies, and I was like, oh, that's it.
The down tube shifters didn't give it away when you were watching the race.
Oh my gosh, dang. And I was gonna say, like, why didn't I recognize like the outdated kits, but they're all in their nations kits, and so yep, my bad.
Why didn't you recognize the shifter cables going from the bars down?
The 2022 women's road race was way more exciting than the 2024 men's road race.
Great.
I seriously thought that happened. Oh my gosh. I'm such an idiot. How did that? Why is that? Why was that even on there? Tiz Cycling, that's their fault for putting that on their website.
The worst place to go. I mean, not actually the worst place, because it's the only place you can go to a lot of racing.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess I need to go back and watch the women's race.
Dizzle's like, it was really great when Sagan attacked.
Yeah.
It was such an exciting race. I didn't know Worlds were in Richmond this year.
Snap.
That's crazy.
That was awesome. That was a good race. Yeah, like 2015.
Hey, so speaking of YouTube highlights, I didn't watch or read the 5-paragraph essays you guys wrote about the rad dirt. What happened?
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about the rad yet.
I mean, yeah.
No one talks about the rad.
The rad is like the least talked about Grand Prix race by far.
Who won?
Sure.
What? Really?
LDC and obviously Keegan.
Keegan didn't do it last year, though, did he?
No. But he did it this year, and he crushed, obviously. I mean, could have called that one.
Who, any other big
names? Was it, in fact, rad?
I mean, it's fine, you know?
Did you improve upon yourself from last year?
So last year I got 16th place in 5 hours and 16 minutes. And this year I got 16th place in 5 hours and 16 minutes.
No way.
Really?
Hey, at least you're not getting slower. That's a plus.
Yeah.
What happened with this drop chain, dude? Your
Okay,
parts all clapped
so-
out or what?
I don't know, man. So as soon as we hit gravel, which is like 3 miles into the race, I drop my chain. And it's not, I have 2x on my bike. So sometimes when you drop your chain, you can shift it back on. It was not one of those times. I had to physically get off my bike, put the chain back on. Only took me like 15 or 20 seconds. But it's the first 5 miles of the race. So they're hauling ass. And I never saw the front group again. So I did a lot of chasing off the back.
It was pretty funny that in the highlights, there, whatever like the follow camera was, they were following your group, and they're like, "Looks like we got Dylan Johnson back here. He must be having a bad day already because he's like way off the back and chasing again." And I thought maybe it was true. I thought you were just having a bad day, and then I saw you come through the first split at 45th or 50th place, and I was like, "Damn, he's having a real bad day." But yeah, you clawed your way back.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah, it was like 45th place or something.
It's not me in
by the
Kentucky
end,
right now?
I mean,
Yeah,
I just
it's
kept
not-
catching
It's
people
not me
throughout
this
the day,
time.
working with groups that I caught, and 16th by the end.
Don't even. Just stop.
You know what the funny part is? We can't hear him, but his recording is still going.
Yeah,
so
that is the funny thing is
whatever he's saying is
what he's
voicing
saying.
over what we're saying right now.
Yeah, that is the good thing about
How
Riverside.
works.
Oh,
I know
and
he's
there he
gone.
goes. Bye-bye, Dylan.
Yep.
Anyways, let's go back to talking about me. Just kidding. I did want to point out while Dylan, oh man, I kind of wanted to do this while Dylan was on here, but he inspired my outfit today. I'm wearing all black, head to toe black. But I was going to point
I
out,
did see that.
we got these sick new shirts. These are trendy shirts. These are comfort colors. That's trendy and expensive shirts. That's what these are. And I did high quality logos. Like these logos you can't see, but they're puffy. Like they're 3D. If you go like this, you can feel bumps.
Just what I want.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It is like this is the highest quality shirt that I have made. Because if you didn't know, all of the Bonk Bros merch is made in my basement. So hand ironed. So if you want to order yourselves one of these nice comfort colors, black and white, because it's edgy, and that's what people like Dylan like, is they just wear black everything. So yeah.
And if you order one, it might get to your house within 2 weeks.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm not home, and because all of the shirts are in my basement, if I'm not home, then they're not getting shipped till I get home. So
Coincidentally, shipping day and YouTube uploading day are the same day in the Dizzle household. So
I swear, I queued up. I did the intro last week. I queued it up. I put it in YouTube and put it to like automatically premiere at Thursday at 3:00. So that one's on YouTube. So don't get pissed at me. Get pissed at YouTube. So they dropped the ball on.
Did you
on
put it
last
for
week's.
next Thursday?
I don't know. You want me to check right now?
No, you don't got to
Might
check right
crap
now.
the bed.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm
Let's
curious.
just
Let's
keep
see
going.
if I screwed it up. Pulling it up right now.
do we have other listener questions? We can quickly change the subject.
Yeah, we can. Drew, someone sent us a pair of, looks like Solomon is introducing a new gravel running shoe. They said you might be interested in those.
Nice.
We're
Yeah.
running now. Let's see. Someone else sent, I don't know if we should wait till Dylan gets back on for this, but I'll just read it anyways. Taylor says, I don't know if anyone else has done this before me, but I was curious to see where Dillman would be if he was in the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Right.
Joel's points earned relative to placing. Sea Otter, you got 8 points for 23rd place. Unbound, 14 points for 17th place. Dropped Leadville, 14 points for Schwalm in 17th place, and then dropped the Rad. Currently,
29
points reflect two dropped races. Therefore, Dizzle has 36 and is in 27th behind future Midwest McTubbin, Chase Wark.
I'm behind Chase?
And in front of Jordan Schleck. Yeah. My prediction is if he goes to Big Sugar, his season total will be 53 because he'll get 14th place just in front of Dylan.
Oh, snap. Hi, he's got.
So yeah, you'd be 27th, dude. You really oversold yourself in your video.
Yeah, but I mean, did you expect me to undersell myself? Come on. Yeah.
Dylan's trying to get back on. Not working, DJ.
Is that right? I beat Chase at Sea Otter and at Schwalm. But I guess with the whole 2 drop race thing.
He must have smoked you at Unbound though.
I wouldn't say smoke.
Well, yeah, so you're 2 dropped races. And then Chase, I don't know what Chase must have done something this past weekend because Chase has also dropped Leadville. But then he gets to drop 1 more race. So maybe he dropped Sea Otter.
No, he didn't do Leadville, and he's going to have to drop Schwalm because he didn't finish.
Oh, that's right. He didn't do Schwalm. Yeah, so
those are his 2 auto. Like
he has 36 points for what it's worth. Or 38 points. You have 36 points. So he's only 2 points ahead of you.
Okay, so yeah, I guess he beat me by enough at Unbound to get those 2 extra points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did oversell myself a little there, didn't I? Who is this guy? How do we know his math is correct? We're just listening to a listener.
I'm sure Taylor's math is correct.
Why? Because he's a math teacher or something?
Someone sent us, asked us if we watched the Peter Attia Tadej Pogačar podcast, where he references doing 320 to 340 watts in zone 2.
Yep. I didn't watch that. I just saw that little clip, and that little clip is gonna lead to so many people overtraining over the next year. That's all I could think about. That was like, so many people are going to hear those numbers and go out and just overtrain their brains out.
What? No,
yeah.
Hopefully, no. It's supposed to give perspective into the fact that superhuman power gets to do 340 watts at zone 2, while everyday human gets to do 140 watts at zone 2.
Is there another? You know what I was wondering is, like, was there some kind of like misunderstanding there? Like, is there another metric, like kilometers and miles per hour? Is there another metric other than watts that you can measure your power that's a little different than watts? Because that sounds unreal. No. Like 340 is your zone 2. Like,
how do you define zone 2?
Well, he said like 145, 150 beats per minute.
Yeah. And he said he does. He said he does the entirety of his zone 2 rides in zone 2. Like he strives for 100% of the time in zone 2 at 340 watts.
Sounds like me.
It's impressive, but
not at 340.
Oh, we're not. Sorry, we were talking about zone 2, not sprint capacity.
I mean, that would only put his FTP at 450. That seems actually pretty much on par.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
He did say the top of his zone 2 was 340, and that he most rides, if they're long, he's actually at like 290.
Yeah, so I did 340 and then took 75% of that, so that puts it at 453. Would be the top of his zone.
That sounds accurate for Tadej's FTP, 453.
Yeah.
Okay.
At what, like 63 kilos?
Yeah, something. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I guess that sounds about
7.2 watts per kilo. Does that sound accurate? That seems a lot.
I think his FTP has to be 7 watts per kilo. Given how given his climbing performances in the tour. Yeah.
Oh no, he's 66. He's 66 kilos.
Okay. So what's that put it at? Like 6.8?
6.9.
That seems accurate. Yeah. Like, I think he's got to have...
That seems accurate.
I think he's got to have close to a 7 watt per kilo FTP given his climbing performances in the tour.
Agreed. Yeah, 7.2 seemed excessive, but 6.9, that sounds right on the money.
Dylan, look what I'm wearing. Look what I'm wearing. Did you see this?
Yeah,
Guess what
I've
color
seen it. I've been seeing
Guess
it the whole time.
Yeah. Hey, but guess what? Guess what color my pants are?
Black.
Oh,
Bright red.
Oh, snap. I look so edgy right now. Guess what my socks are? Guess what color my socks are?
White.
Black. Dude, I am edgy.
Honestly,
dang. I've never felt like I looked so cool.
Yeah,
dude, you don't even look like you're from Kentucky at all.
Well, given how black your background is, it looks like your head is just floating.
Yeah, you can't even see me. Yeah, you can't see me.
All right, Jesse wants to know what would be faster, a Checkpoint ALR 5 with $600 wheel upgrade or a stock Aspero with Apex?
Don't get an Aspero. Absolutely not.
Isn't the max big tires on that, right?
Yeah, isn't the max clearance on the Aspero like 42s? Why are you even asking this question?
The new one is 47, and I only know that because my buddy just got one.
What's the max clearance on the Checkpoint?
I don't know. I'm trying to look it up. I think it's probably less, actually.
Okay. I mean, don't get...
Because I had a Checkpoint fork on my Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
In the Checkpoint fork, I could fit a 47.
Yeah, I mean, don't get either one of those bikes.
It's probably 47.
Look, if you're in the market for a new bike, don't get either one of those.
I'm guessing this person, Jesse, probably has a Checkpoint ALR 5 and is wondering if they should just get new wheels for their Checkpoint or if they should get a stock Aspero with the baseline build. And I agree with
absolutely
Dylan, I wouldn't
don't do that.
Yeah, I would save your money until you can get like, I don't know, instead of getting the Aspero, dude, get the freaking
State Allroad?
Santa Cruz, right? Isn't that Santa Cruz? What?
No, Keegan's don't get the Santa Cruz either. Why are you telling him to get the Santa Cruz?
Well, because
Santa Cruz,
I'm guessing wherever they can get an Aspero.
Yeah, are you suggesting he buys a felt, Dylan? Come on, like
the felt can fit bigger. Dude, the felt can fit a Conti Race King 2.2 in the rear, and the Santa Cruz cannot.
Yeah, so can a
That's true.
And a state costs like a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, because Keegan's running a 2.1 in the back, isn't he?
Yeah, with all the knobs trimmed off.
Yeah. So forget that.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
I would just wait. Like if you wait 1 or 2 years.
Literally the number one thing somebody needs to consider when buying a gravel bike is, does it fit 2.2s? And
dude, you sound like me right now.
No, I'm asking. Is
that a question?
I'm asking, is that like, if that box isn't checked, the bike shouldn't even be on the list.
Exactly. Yes. If your bike cannot fit 2.2 Conti Race Kings, do not buy it.
There's only like a handful of bikes that even are capable of that.
Yeah, I know. Dylan's got one. I got one. Yeah. You got one.
I know. Tyler doesn't have one.
I know.
Tyler doesn't got one.
Yeah,
I have 2 cyclocross.
I'm dead serious about this. If you send in a question and you're like, should I buy this bike? It can fit 45s. No, don't buy it.
Dang, that was offensive. You just made everybody sound like a little girl voice. You can't do that to people. They're going to be mad at you for doing that.
Dude, what's wrong with being a little girl, man? There's nothing wrong with being a little girl.
That's so offensive, Dylan. Man, do you even consider our listeners when you do that? Dude, I think if I pissed off anyone this episode, it was probably people who do Grand Fondos, but I don't care.
You know what?
Grand Fondos are lame.
You know what's kind of wild?
What?
The extent to which this trend is trending, so bigger tires on your gravel bikes, and everyone's, you're calling them mountain bike tires because they don't make gravel tires big enough to call them mountain bike tires right now, right? They're the only tires you can find in 2.2 is mountain bike tires. But dude, someone like Rusty, okay, he has to run this brand new Trek race bike that they just came out with, and that dude is like shaving off the complete, like he's taking a Maxxis Aspen and making it into a slick.
Right.
just to fit it in his bike.
Yep.
Which is wild. Like the fact that someone like that is going to that extreme.
Well, his mechanic is doing it, but yeah.
Or whatever. I'm sure his mechanic's doing it. I'm sure he's not pulling a Dillman and shaving it in his garage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's how important it is. And that's how much Trek screwed up with their new bike.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Shots fired. Now you're offending entire bike companies. Ooh, you better watch out, dude.
I mean, I think I've already said that. It's just so ironic that Trek came out with the checkmate at Steamboat, and and then Steamboat of all races was won on 2.2 mountain bike tires.
Yeah, Steamboat was like the race that everyone started riding mountain bike tires.
Yeah, which traditionally it's been the race that you can get away with 32s at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I think we should shut this down.
Oh, I was going to ask, what tires should I run for Little Sugar? Because I need to order if I need to. Tyler, you're probably the guy. Do I need to get new tires?
Tyler the guy.
He lives
I
there.
live here.
Oh, gotcha.
I've never ridden any of those
trails.
trails.
Didn't we just talk about how Tyler can only fit 42s?
Yeah, but he can tell me which.
No, you're talking about Little Sugar mountain bike.
Little Sugar mountain biking. Yeah.
Oh, the mountain bike race.
Yeah, I got
Recon XO Plus. Seriously.
Yeah, honestly, that's not a bad tire. Anything with like the max sidewall protection you can get, the max protection you can get is.
All right.
I usually run the XC trail casing from Vittoria with a Barzo Mezcal combo. Works fine. 2.4s.
Dang. So 2.4s for sure. And then, what'd you guys say?
I think you should just keep those Aspen. Dude, I think you should just keep those Aspen STs on, man. They did good for you at Schwamigan.
Yeah, dude, you'll just glide over everything.
Yesterday was thinking about that. I was like, man, I need to ride my mountain bike. And then I was like, oh, snap. I don't think I can run the tires that I have on there right now. And that's why I was like, I need to make sure I ask these guys tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, the trails are super dusty right now.
To buy some tires.
There's no rain in the forecast, at least for the next 10 days.
Drew, this
Dylan, can you buy these tires?
A joke.
I know how much you enjoy buying tires. Can you buy these tires and then just put my address in at the end?
No. I don't enjoy buying Maxxis tires at all.
Drew, if you buy the tires, I'll ride them. Buy whatever tires you think are best, and I'll ride them.
Okay. Drew, this isn't even like me poking fun at you. Why are you doing Little Sugar?
Because I thought it would be fun to go for the whole week down to Bentonville, hang out with Tyler, maybe scope out some gravel roads. Because we've talked about hosting a gravel camp, maybe even a mountain bike camp down in Bentonville a bunch, but nobody's ever pulled the trigger on it. So if Tyler can show me some convincing reasons why we should do that, then maybe we'll do that next year. And the family's coming with me, so we're hanging out for the whole week. Bentonville seems like a cool place to take your kids, so
cool.
And it's not a lifetime Grand Prix event, so you might have a chance at top 20.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I don't know. And there weren't any other big races
and
that weekend.
They pay out decent, like probably 10 deep.
I doubt that would happen, but I'm not really going there with that intent.
All right, I gotta log into another meeting. You guys want to keep going?
No.
Well, no, just shut it down.
I feel a little nervous about everything I said at the beginning of the podcast.
You should. If
any of those people are still on.
We were
this happens every week.
We were highly offensive this week.
I'll go off the I'll go off the rails, and then by the end of the podcast, I'm like, maybe I should have toned it back a little bit. And that's where I'm at right now.
First time. Later.